Oh no, Minnie, you're sick. And all of these antibiotics are expired. What do we do? Keep or throw away? That's the question, isn't it? What do we do with expired antibiotics? I'm Grace with Boujee, Beaks, Haven, and this is Minnie Cooper. In 2023, most of these antibiotics were taken off of the market because I guess people were abusing them. The few always spoil it for the many, or in this case, for the many. So what do we do with all these expired antibiotics? I'm going to answer that question for you today. So I work as a massage therapist that has nothing to do with chickens or antibiotics, but I have a client who is a pharmacist and has been for 30 years. So I asked him this question: what's the deal with expired antibiotics? And this was his answer. When an antibiotic is manufactured, it begins a slow decline in potency. When it reaches the expiration date, that means that it has, I'm sorry, the camera's wiggling. That means that it has lost 10% of its potency if it has been kept at room temperature, okay? After the expiration date, the decline drops more sharply, more rapidly, till eventually it's completely useless. So I know a lot of people are like, don't ever throw away antibiotics because they just lose their potency. Yes, and at a certain point they lose their potency to the point where they're completely useless. Now, I mentioned room temperature. Yes, room temperature for antibiotics, unless it's one of those that's been reconstituted and has to be refrigerated. Room temperature is always going to be how you're going to want to store your antibiotics. Heat will speed up the expiration date, and cold can actually change the composition and make it completely useless to begin with. So we definitely want to keep all of our antibiotics at room temperature. Now, as far as how long are they still good afterwards, so it's going to depend on the actual medication itself and how it was stored. It's really kind of going to be a judgment call on your part to notice the expiration date, how long it's been, and how you have kept it, as far as whether you want to use it at all or use it trying to increase the dose a certain percentage, or however you want to do it. And I am not recommending one or the other. I am just letting you know what I've been told. One thing else I want to mention, very, very important, is not all antibiotics can be saved. If you have something like tetracycline, when it reaches its expiration date, it becomes toxic and actually lethal. You definitely want to throw stuff like that out. So make sure you take the time to look over the antibiotic that you have, do some research, and make your own judgment. I'm Grace and Minnie Cooper with Boujee, Beaks, Haven.